started live on LinkedIn. Let's go live on the YouTubes and let's go live on Facebook. Hey guys, if you're already up here, welcome to the Pirate Skills meetup today about turning shop visitors into customers. And we are just getting settled in, starting the live streams. Chill, join us, and you'll start to learn more about turning shop visitors into customers in just a second. We're just making sure that everything looks right. YouTube and Facebook looks good. How is our favorite channel LinkedIn doing? Hey, it's so and so. Oh yeah, it's live. You just have to edit it. Nice. Okay, so even the LinkedIns are working. Wonderful. So as always, just as a bit of heads up, we optimize this experience for YouTube. So head over there and subscribe to our channel so you'll always stay up to date. And it's just the cleanest live streaming experience we can offer you at the moment. If you want to chat with us, join us on Discord. We always have the server up and running all weeks. We run all of our workshops through this one. And this is the place where you can connect with each other because we are back in lockdown mode here in Cologne, Germany. And that means connecting is more important than ever. If we can't do it in real life, we have to do it somewhere else. And I think Discord is a beautiful community to just do that. Then we prepared the slide deck that you're seeing here right now for you. Sometimes we got more detailed instructions on the slides and clickable links. So it's quite convenient if you just download the slides while you're watching the stream. You can also find all of the other past slide decks and video recordings up there. After the meetup, we nicely slice and dice the videos into segments. It makes it much more easier and convenient for you to consume and to find just what you were looking for. Okay, last but not least, we got some questions that we answer at every end of the live stream. And let's see if we already got some questions up and running. Well, we got 4 questions in ahead of time. Stuff like, what are good lead capturing tools for online shops? Does this stuff that we're talking about work on Amazon listings? Should I use evil pop-ups, even though I hate them personally? Fun questions. You can go to slido.com, enter the code R, or scan the QR code, and that's where we can ask your own questions or upvote the questions that have been talked about, that have already been posted. So we are always checking in between the sections that you are actually asking questions and upvoting, and we will find enough situations where we can add that as well. But usually somebody just keeps a tab open there. Oh, I see a new upvote coming in. That was nice. So there are already people in Slido live as we speak. Wonderful. So that's the questions. That's all that I wanted to set up front. Let's dig in. So welcome to turning your online shop visitors into loyal customers, because visitors simply just ain't real customers yet. We have to work for it. And all of the e-commerce tactics and strategies that we talked about in the past 3 months are now coming together into this last meetup where we talk about conversion rate optimization in the context of e-commerce. The agenda for today is to first give you a little bit of a recap of the past strategies that we have done and have talked about so far, and then dig into 3 more growth marketing tactics, meaning personalized shop banners, optimizing your checkout experience, and then introducing A/B testing to your online shop. And then after that, we have time for the Q&A. Most of you guys know me, but for the people who are not, I'm Ben. I'm a founder since 2008. I now consider myself primarily a growth marketer because I just fell in love with this awesome point between psychology, which is what I studied, computer science, and business. I host this Pirate Skills live show since 4.5 years, and I just live and breathe this stuff, and I try to share everything that I learn in the real world. And if you share your case studies, that again is wonderful for us and for the whole community. That's the attitude that we want to get out here. So let's talk about why shop visitors are simply not yet loyal customers as you would like them to be. What would you say? How many visitors of the average online store actually become customers? Is it maybe just 1 out of 100? Is it 10 out of 100? What would you think is typical? I found a nice study with pretty current and substantial data, which says that 1.6% e-commerce conversion rate is average. 3.6% and you are already in the top 20%, and 5.1% and you're in the top 10% of all online stores. The question that begs itself now is, what are the other 95 people doing on your online store, and how can you stay in touch? How can you make it easier for those people? So most of the people just won't buy. If you want to check out the data, this is based on a Shopify tool called Little Data, which I really appreciate. And they studied this, how do you say it, like a survey. And you can press the link and you can see all of the background data, and they keep on updating this information. And they have lots of other information that might be interesting for you as a shop owner, like what is a normal percentage of people adding something to the cart or starting the checkout. And since Shopify is currently like at least among the best online store systems that we have access to, I think this is a pretty good statement. So what did we talk about in the past meetups? As I mentioned in the beginning, this is the last part of a 6-part series where we talk about how to double your e-commerce profits. And I really do not mean that hyperbole. I think it is always a very reasonable goal for an online shop owner to say, what can we do in the next 6 months, for example, to double our e-commerce profits? And the tactics that I talked about are really the ones where I think these are the ones that have, in my experience, the biggest impact on most stores. Not everything applies to you, but if you find like 3, 4, 5 out of those 15 growth tactics that are pretty common sense and just good e-commerce practice, by the way, not fucking magic bullets, then you will be able, or at least have a very high chance to double your e-commerce profits. So let's dig in. In the area of content marketing and storytelling, we talked about pulling more people into your user story. And this is where better product creatives, better descriptions, and a bit more modern look and feel and a more emotional touch can really help to make people convert. The second tip was to align all of your product and content creation efforts. That means that you pretty much have a checklist for, if you launch a product, you got to have beautiful image shots, but product shots, mood shots, videos, vertical, horizontal, descriptions in short and long forms, a blog article, an interview, all that good jazz, a ton of social media posts. And to try to avoid the pitfall of separating those. Your social media marketing should be completely focused around the needs of your audience who's buying your product. Then the last one was the ability in e-commerce to use the paid channels, like let's say like Instagram ads, to scale up your organic ones. Here we have an example from Klarheit, a Cologne-based startup who's doing coaching calendars, and they have a pretty popular Instagram profile. Of course, they're doing great stuff on Instagram organically, but they also are able to invest in Instagram ads, which increases their number of followers, which in the long term decreases their cost per acquisition. So let me just take a little sip here. I got something in my left eye, which is incredibly annoying. That's the stuff that happens on live streams. I'm sorry, guys. So I hope it's gone. So that is the third strategy we talked about. Then we shifted from content marketing and storytelling to funnel building, and how especially email can help you to boost your funnel. And one of my favorite ideas was talked about here: lead generation before direct sales. That means that you try to give value to your customer in return for their contact data, like their email or messenger bot subscription. And that you try to first get them on this free level of commitment and then do the more direct selling. Because if this works, you can blow up your email list, your subscriber list, while making sales. Yeah, and this is a much more long-term perspective that you can build, because you can build this huge audience that is actually paying for the growth of your channels. Then what to do with those subscribers? Now you got them on your email list. Now you need to nurture them from just a lead that is interested with the help of automations to become a real customer. And the sixth strategy is, once they become a customer, not stopping with that nurturing process, but keeping a sequence of emails going that helps you to get more referrals, gets you additional purchases from the same person, gets you more reviews, all that kind of good stuff. And then we shifted the focus again to the analytics part. So we have storytelling and content marketing, funnel building, and now analytics. And how analytics can help you to much more quickly identify the methods, the stuff that is actually working. And that the absolute base work that you have to do is to have your conversion tracking working. If you do any kind of paid advertising, you need that channel to actually show you the customer journey from the page view to the add to cart to the checkout to the conversion. And this is where we dived in that. In order for you to be allowed to track that, we introduced strategy number 8, managing your cookie consent well. And we talked about the benefits of having a real in-your-face cookie banner and using that to get a very high 60, 70, 80% opt-in rate, so that you're allowed to track people, which then decreases the amount of budget that you need in order to have conversion rate optimized campaigns. The 9th strategy is using better reporting to make learning faster. Once you see where people are stuck in the process in your customer journey, the question becomes, yes, so what? What am I going to do now? The first step is you need to be able to see, oh, there's a problem, or there's a huge potential if we scale that up. And then you need to be able to make the decision, so what to do about it. And the data is the first nudge that you should be seeing that helps you to see, like, oh yeah, we need to make a decision in that area. And then we shift the focus toward paid traffic, to really scaling your message out to the people, and finding campaigns that are cash flow positive for you, where you spend €1,000 and make €5,000 in top line revenue back. And the 10th strategy was a campaign structure based on top of the funnel people, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. So that means people who don't know anything about you and are not problem aware, to people who are interested, to people ready to buy. And to structure your ad in that way that every product category, and your whole brand has this nice flow of getting fresh blood into the system, while at the same time retargeting the really nicely engaged people. And then the 11th strategy built on that is simply retargeting everywhere. Especially if you don't have a lot of money, you can make it look like you're everywhere for very few bucks. Yeah, for 1,000 impressions, you are paying maybe €10. And that means that 1,000 people on your websites can be followed up at least once for €10, depending on the channel that you are using. Strategy number 12 is using automated shopping campaigns. This is like a magic move. Those campaigns are hard to set up. I'm talking about that I've talked about that in the last meetup. But once you have them set up, they work in 8 out of 10 shops without you having to do a lot more configuration afterwards. They are something that every shop owner simply should try. If you don't have Google shopping campaigns running or your Facebook product catalog ads, just get them started and see what's happening after 2 or 3 weeks of conversion optimization on the platform's end. So this is what we have been talking about so far. Now, what are the last 3 strategies that we are going to dig in today? So turning online shop visitors into loyal customers. That is our focus. The 13th strategy is personalized banners in your shop. Imagine you have an influencer campaign and you get to show a banner that says like, hey, you are coming from Mary from Instagram. Here's your Mary 10% discount code. It creates relevance. It personalizes the experience. Then optimizing your checkout experience. Once people have made the commitment to go beyond the add to cart button, which is more or less just like, yeah, let's save this product for later. But once they start the checkout experience, they are committed. And now all of those form fields are standing in the way of getting their product. And if it's too complicated, they will leave. Number 15, the last one in the series, is introducing A/B testing to your online shop. This is simply where we check out what, for example, a tool like Google Analytics can do for you to test, should you, for example, do express checkout, or should you just avoid that kind of stuff? Should you have a guest checkout? Should you not have it? What happens if you don't? And I'll show you exactly how to set it up, at least a simple overview of that. And those are the 15 strategies that we got lined up for you to double your e-commerce profits. Okay, so this was the overview of why shop visitors are not directly customers. And in the next video, we will dig deep into personalized banner ads. All right, so personalized banner ads, what are those? Look at this example here. We have an online shop that we talked about a couple of times in this series from John Lennon. If you visit them, you will very likely, after a bit of time, you will see this engaging pop-up where you get to have like the spinning wheel. If you enter your email address, you can win something. This is a very engaging way to interact with your customers, and you can personalize this based on where your people have come from. You don't want, for example, to do this for past customers, or you want to do this especially for past customers, but with different offers. And this is provided by a tool called Listagram. I think this is a bit of the craziest and most engaging tool that I've found for lead generation, not only on online shops, but in all kinds of scenarios. We talked about many different strategies, what to do here. We talked about evil pop-ups and how sadly they are working. I think I saw a question about that. We talked about that later. We talk about engagement tools, and the stuff that I want to dig deep into is like offering a personalized coupon code for your campaign sources. It is such an interesting experience when you click on an ad or have interacted with an influencer and you land on a website that actually takes into account what you have just been seeing. And we're going to use Google Optimize for that. So how does this work? I've brought an example here from the Pirate Skills landing page. This is our workshop landing page. And if you come from Facebook, you will see this red banner at the top. This is just a demo banner, but you can actually type the link below in pirateskills.com/workshop/source equals Facebook, and you will see this banner, and only when you came from that source. So how do I get something like that, and why should you have it? Let's say I promised you a discount in my ad, and then I take up this offer again in the store and make it more likely that you want it. Then I can put a banner at the top or at the center and make this much more relevant for you. The tool that makes this magic work is Google Optimize. There are many tools that can do this, but Google Optimize, I think, is one of the least complicated ways to get there. First of all, it's extremely likely that you already have Google Analytics installed, which is a prerequisite for Google Optimize to work. If you haven't, you probably have a really good reason why not, because it's like the default tracking tool that everybody has. And Google Optimize sits on top of that. You can get all of the information below. And it allows you to do quite fun things. So let's just dig in and start an experiment in Google Optimize. The only thing I should say is that the basic idea of Google Optimize is that you can do a change on your website without having your developers involved. Maybe your developers are involved with installing your Google Analytics and Optimize, but that's it. From then on, you have a what you see is what you get overview of your content, and you can just change pictures and text and whole columns. Yeah. And then you can decide how many people are going to see that. So how does this work in real practice? You start in this scenario with a personalized banner with a banner template. We got A/B tests, which show, for example, 50% of version A to this audience, 50% of version B to that audience. We got multivariate tests, we got redirects, and we got those new banner templates. They actually introduced it because of the pandemic, so shop owners can easily put a warning on their stores, but I think this is going to stay around permanently because it's such a good idea. Once you've created this experiment with a banner template, you arrive on the screen where you now can edit that banner. So if you press on the edit button, you will go back to your website and you will see this banner at the top in a different color probably. And this is where you can customize the color, the text, and the links. And the link that is on the learn more stuff, you can also rename it. And then you save it. And now you need to make a decision what is triggering that banner. Because maybe you don't want to show it for everybody. If you want to show it for everybody, you're already done. But if you only want to show it to people from a specific source, there are many ways to get there. One of the simplest ways to do it is to use query parameters. That is the option that is marked here. A query parameter is essentially what is written after the URL. It starts with a question mark, and we created a query parameter called source. You see it in the preview URL down here. I was checking it, pirateskits.com, $source equals Facebook. And we define always a key and a value. The key is the word that stands at the beginning, $source, and the value that is the trigger is in this case Facebook. And you can create all kinds of values. You can say, oh yeah, this was Instagram Mary, this was Facebook stories, this was Instagram stories. And then you can trigger different banners and customizations based on that. So now visitors who have this query parameter, source equals Facebook, can see this red banner. And I can use this for all kinds of shenanigans. So that's essentially it. Yeah, we now got this personalized banner set up and running. This is a process that costs you maybe an hour, yeah, for the initial setup, and after that 10 minutes. So personalization sounds always so fancy, and retargeting and A/B testing, but you saw that those were just a few steps. If you just follow along what I showed you on the slides, you're done already. And now we can go into the part where we try to look at optimizing your checkout in the next part. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, we talk about this in our YouTube channel a lot. You can go back and watch probably 100 videos now around these topics of growth marketing, and we just really love you to subscribe. I want to grab the 700 subscribers. I recently saw an MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee video, where he updated his channel after his 100th video. And do you know how many subscribers he had at this time? 74. And he's now, or 76. He's now in the 10 million subscriber range. So he started 12 years ago. Amazing guy. So after just 1 year, I can't complain about my almost 700 subscribers, but it's not enough. Please help me to pimp that up. All right, the next strategy is optimizing your checkout experience. We want to go from this manual process to a machine, something that really can work for you. Well, let's look at a checkout experience here from Klarheit, which is in a Shopify store. We see a very clean setup. We got the express checkout, email, delivery address, coupon code on the right side, pricing, very transparent. So this is a good example. And even on mobile, we have a good experience. You see that I can scroll through the shop listing, I can add something to the cart, I get this swipe in. This is on a Chrome browser. On an actual iOS or Android device, it's even smoother. You can go to the checkout. You see that it's a mobile first experience. And even if not all of your customers are from mobile, if you start designing your experience for mobile, usually the desktop experience turns out very nice and modular. If you go the other way around, a desktop design never breaks down well for a mobile device. So do not even consider accepting an awesome experience for mobile. There is no reason why you should. And if your shop system doesn't support it, then check out if there are more up-to-date templates for the designs for that given shop system, or screw the shop system and change to something else, like a WooCommerce, like a Shopify. Depending on your size, there are different recommendations. So mobile first is the first way to optimize your checkout. Then getting away with all of those intransparent costs that can come after we already made a purchase decision. Imagine I want to buy one of those calendars, and then in the checkout I would see a $4.90 shipping cost. Here you can see that the shipping costs are 0. And this is what I expect. If I now see €3.90 shipping costs, I might change my mind. I even go as far as to recommend, this is not doable for everybody, but for most people it is, to factor in your shipping costs if possible, or have a reasonable threshold for your shopping cart where you can offer free shipping. This always has made a great impact on the e-commerce conversion rate for me. And it's just a pricing game. And in the mind of the customer, there's very little difference if the price is already factored in. But they are used to the Amazon Prime experience, and the online shops simply have not kept up with that. The next one is do not force accounts. Here we have an example from the John Lenn store, and they offer a guest checkout or a checkout with a registration. So I always see I always see online stores where they force me to enter an email and a password and all kinds of stuff that I actually would not need in order to check out. And my recommendation is to not force people into creating an account. But you can try it. For example, Klarheit is doing that. You can see that there is no way I can order something in the Shopify store for Klarheit without also creating an account there. The advantage, if you have people who are willing to go through that step and creating an account and accepting those additional form fields, then you have more engaged people and you can more easily calculate customer lifetime value. But will your total e-commerce conversion rate suffer? Definitely. Yeah, if you minimize the number of form fields, if you, for example, predict the city based or calculate the city based on the zip code instead of having them type that in, that will improve your e-commerce conversion rates in your checkout. Then we also want to have trusted payment options. I use the same example here. We got Shop Pay, Google Pay, Google PayPal, Amazon Pay, but there is also credit card and SEPA-Lastschrift, which we really love here, only in Germany, which is like a direct debit payment. All the countries are so different in that direction. If you have an online store in the Netherlands and you're not offering it's called ideal payment option, that would be considered weird, like not offering the SEPA option in Germany. And we have to think and talk to our customers what they want, and we want to reduce this to the minimum amount that makes it doable and manageable for the people. We don't want to overwhelm them with 27 payment options, but have the ones that are really working for you. Then an exit intent pop-up in your checkout experience. I hate any kinds of pop-ups in your checkout. I usually deactivate them all and I replace them with an exit intent pop-up. At this point, you have absolutely nothing to lose. If the person wants to quit their session, they are not going to buy. You can really try this and try to interrupt that purchase. Maybe make a last-ditch effort to convince them. You don't have to give them an additional discount or anything, but to nudge them to finish that checkout experience, because there is nothing to lose. So that's the checkout experience. Those are the nuggets there. If you want to download the slides, you can get them at pirateskills.com/loyal. You'll see that we don't have the get.pirateskills.com stuff anymore. It's now working always with just pirateskills.com/keyword. In this case, loyal, to get all the goodies. That's it. So let's dig into the questions that we have collected so far. We got still the 4 questions. Guys, we need more. I don't know how many people are watching this live, but head over to slido.com and enter the code R, and you will head here. You can ask your questions about conversion rate optimization in your online store, or general questions in the growth marketing areas. We would really love to see more questions by the end of this. Let's go back. The next part is then optimizing the checkout experience. No, introducing A/B testing. Let's look into that. Okay, introducing A/B testing to your online shop is my last and one of my favorite growth marketing tactics that I want to give you to double your e-commerce conversion rate. Imagine you were able to show people, like 50% of the people see like animated images in your product views, and the other one just sees static images. And you really want to test this hypothesis that it's worth to animate your product pictures, but you're not sure because it's a lot of work. Then you can do with A/B testing this test on just a single product and then send people to the same URL, and the A/B testing software will split the traffic and show you which version makes more money for you, or has the better e-commerce conversion rate, or the lowest cost per acquisition, or the highest customer lifetime value. That's all possible. One specific questions I wanted to use this as an example is, does the express checkout option work? That is a question I regularly hear. Ben, what kind of express checkout options should I have? Because the main option, just to initiate the checkout, that actually looks like even like an afterthought, like zur Kasse means like go to the checkout. But there are 4 other options for quick checkouts, and it depends on which device you are. Then you can see different options here. So how would we do that? How would we set up a test that proves that those extra checkout options are actually worth it and are not actually harming us? Yeah, or are they improving something? Usually the hypothesis is that express checkout is helping us, but does it? What you have to do in A/B testing is that you actually have to implement the express checkout and then you hide it. How do you do that? you wait a moment. You have this set up as your default experience for everybody. Without an A/B test, they would see the express checkout. And then as a little cheat code, you go into your Google Optimize that I talked about setting up in 2 videos before. And there you can simply hide that segment. You can just mark it on the screen and then hide it, hide all of those elements. And then you see this version, yeah, where the bottom content goes up. And this is a nice way how to even A/B test complex technical stuff. You have to implement it first and then make the test by hiding it. Because A/B testing in e-commerce is in Shopify can be pretty difficult in the checkout area because it's actually on a different domain than your normal shop. I put in a nice tutorial on how to input it there. This site, getelevar.com, is also a very good resource for e-commerce conversion rate optimization. So if we want to do this with Google Optimize again, what we have to do this time is to start a new experiment, but instead of the banner template, we choose the top option, the A/B testing one. And this creates this experiment sheet, and you have to add a new variant, which is the blue button. After you do that, you can now decide how you want to weigh those different versions. Do you want to give like 30% of traffic to the original and 70% to the test, or do you want to have it the other way around? Want to be a bit more careful because you have lots of shop visitors and you only want to show to 10% of the people. You can decide this here. And then you get this overlay. Yeah, I used the example of my workshop part again, of my workshop landing page again here. We see this overlay, and I can just press on the price 7,500, and I want to try this experiment. What if I show it as 3 times 2,500? Is that more efficient than telling people this costs 7,500? I'm not sure about that. And this, I got a lot of feedback for the landing page, and this was one of the most talked about topic. Should I have pricing at all, or how should I phrase my pricing? As you can see, I'm not changing the absolute numbers. That can be a bit dangerous, but I can change the way I display that. And now I just changed it in Google Optimize. I didn't write any line of code. You can do it on a customly developed online store. You can do it on Shopify. You can do it on WooCommerce, whichever store you like. Again, this is not rocket surgery at all. It's simply going along with what the tool tells you to do next. The last thing that you want to do is define, almost the last thing, is define the primary objective of your experiment, because this tool has to make a decision who the winner is. Is the 7,500 price better, or the 3 times 2,500? What I want to do, for example, is measure the number of transactions happening on the website, the number of workshop calls started or scheduled calls. You can use your Google Analytics objectives straight in Google Optimize for that. It's very convenient. And then afterwards, you let it run for a couple of weeks or days, depending on how much traffic you have. For me, it's definitely running it for weeks. You can see the difference now between the original version and the experimental version. And if you have multiple experiments, you can also see that. So in this case, the newer version was worse in this report. This is not the current slide to the experiment I showed you, because the results were not sufficient enough to show a good graph. So this is from the support Google domain. And we talk about these kinds of shenanigans all the time. If you're curious about that, join us on our YouTube, hit sub, and we will fill you up with more growth marketing tactics just like that. So that's it. That is introducing A/B testing to your online shop. Today, a bit of a more compact session But I thought as a final overview, I didn't want to put more in, make it more technically complicated than it is. Because most of this stuff you have to click through for yourself. You have to do the installation. And the official documentation is so well done that you will hardly have a problem. And the implementation is so different for a WooCommerce store than a Shopify store than a Shopware store that it's not worth going into too much detail there. It's all doable, I promise. If you can install Google Analytics, you can install Google Optimize. So that's it. Let's dig into the Q&A. What kind of questions have we up and running here? We got 6 questions. Thank you very much for those. Let's just start with the most upvoted one. Should I still have evil pop-ups on my website even though I hate them personally? Yeah, it's a bit like, do you want to make money question. And I don't mean that in an ironic way. If you can afford to not do it, then don't do it. It's your website, it's your decision, it's your baby. The sad truth is that they work like magic. One of my favorite tools to do this kind of stuff is Sumome. And even though everybody who I ask about, how do you like those Sumome pop-ups, they always say, oh, this is so horrible, and why do you put them on your website? Why do you want to put them on my website? After you see the results, you don't want to not do them anymore. So the question is, who's evil? The user who's behaving badly by giving us their opt-in email, or us by putting up the evil pop-up in the first place? I don't know. That's maybe a more philosophical question for another time. Then, okay, you did all kind of, my e-commerce conversion rate is above 5%. What should I be doing now? So you did all kinds of optimization. You got a very high top 10% e-commerce conversion rate of more than 5%. What should you be doing now? Of course, first of all, congratulations that you have such a nice store. What I would start doing now is look at your traffic sources. Which of your sources is actually contributing to that high conversion rate? Typical candidates are people who are doing brand search, who are familiar with you, your brand or your product. They're searching for that, and they already made their buying decision beforehand. Yeah, the amount of those people is limited. It's pretty unlikely that this is also true for channels like generic search engine marketing or Facebook or Instagram ads. If it's true for, let's say, Instagram ads, you still have a 5% e-commerce conversion rate. Congratulations again. Start hitting the boost button. Start spending more. Look at your cost per acquisition. And if you can afford it, keep pushing more traffic onto your website until you end up at about 3%. That you should find a profit maximum somewhere around there. So the main factor that influences your e-commerce conversion rate is, of course, the user experience on the website, but also the traffic source. The next question is, should I use a single page cart checkout, or go for a separate checkout to have more retargeting hooks? Very good question. So what are retargeting hooks? Let's say you have a checkout that goes through 4 steps. Then you see immediately, oh, how far do people get? And I can do retargeting by every single step. If you have a shit ton of traffic, let's say more than 100,000 people on your online store a month, then you can easily afford to have multiple steps for retargeting. Otherwise, the audiences between the initiate checkout and payment information, they're just too few to do proper retargeting there. But the much more important thing is, where do you have the better overall e-commerce conversion rate? With a single page or the separated checkout? Whatever has the better e-commerce conversion rate is the correct solution for your audience. And I imagine that different audiences prefer different ways. I think Amazon doesn't leave anything to be just be sheer luck in their checkout, and they do a multi-step separated checkout version. So I'm not too keen anymore on the single page checkout stuff. I had a phase where I was absolutely in it. I'm not in it anymore. So let's go for the next question. Should I hide the main site navigation on the card to avoid distraction and keep focus on the call to action? After they left the card and initiated the checkout, this is this step on which I would start hiding the navigation. Yes, I would do that. Absolutely. Why would we do that? Because we don't want people to now see, oh yeah, I could click on this product category. No, we want them to check out first, become customers, and then resurface and maybe do another purchase at another time. So I like that idea, and I think you should do it, but not at the shopping cart level yet. This is just the perfect place where you want to go for cross-sell, upsell, downsell, and where you want to introduce more opportunities. But after that, you want to focus people. So what are good lead capture tools for online shops? I already mentioned one. Zoomumi is a fantastic pop-up tool. Then I mentioned another one called Listagram for the spinning wheel of death on your website. Beautiful, especially in the winter because they have snow animations over it. Just kidding, they actually have it, but don't activate it. Other tools to do that. I personally very much like survey tools for email capturing for e-commerce, because you can ask people questions, get them engaged and interested in different product categories, and all this information that they're giving you, you can use to personalize your offer and send them to that product category as well as to another one that fits. So those are 3 tools I really like. Survey tools, stuff like Listagram, and email marketing capture tools like Zoomumi. So the last question, does this also work on my Amazon store listing? Not all of it. Of course, you can't install Google Optimize on your Amazon store listing, but what you can do is optimize your listing to the best of your ability to change the title, change the product pictures, and work on the text, the descriptions, the details. Amazon gives you a lot of ways to optimize it. And what you want to be looking at in your in your merchant center is not the merchant center. What is it called again? Where you manage your products. There you can see your average checkout rates from the different ASINs that you have. And when you make changes, you should see an increase of the conversion rate of your product listing views. And that's the KPI I would work against. Otherwise, the traffic strategies, the email strategies, they still work also for Amazon, just the on-page stuff. We can't do that much except for the stuff that I talked about. So that looks like it's the last question. And we almost forgot the poll. We usually start a poll where we ask you guys in the beginning of the Q&A, how likely would you recommend this event to a friend or colleague? I missed out on that slide, as I can see here. Oh yeah, I have it here right now. Please go over to slido.com, enter the code R, and let us know, was this helpful for you or not? Yeah, we already got 1 upvote. Thank you very much. I'll keep this up and running and wrap up for the evening, and then we'll check it out again. So thank you for your feedback, and thank you very much for all the questions that were coming in. We got something new and special lined up in the year 2021, which is around the corner. We now close the whole topic of e-commerce profit optimization. Before that, we had a whole quarter where we just talked about B2B lead generation. Now, in the next year, we want to change the format one more time. We will only have 1 live stream per month. Again, during the pandemic, we went from 1 live stream per month to 2 live streams. We will still publish more videos more videos over the weeks, but we only have one event where we're going to ask you to register with a ticket per month. And the upcoming event is going to be Growth Marketing Readiness 2021. If you go to pirateskills.com/ready, we will hit you up there. This is where we're going to talk about like a checklist of what you need to be ready. What kind of tools, what skills do you need, all that kind of jazz. And if you're interested in that, get a ticket for that, and we will see you in the next year. So let me show you the results from the survey. So I don't think that I'm hiding anything. We got 5 feedbacks, 1 7-star. He chose a 6, then went for a 7. I'm very open for constructive criticism. Send me a message what would make it a 10 for you. I know this was a short one, and maybe you felt a bit that I rushed it. I feel the same. So let's go back to the slides. If you want to dig deeper in all this stuff, the new year also brings a new start of our growth marketing workshop series, where we teach you the art and science of growth marketing. If you're curious about that, head over to pirateskills.com/workshop and just chat us up with the phone number we have over there. We got everything transparent and hopefully very informative for you. And if you're not interested in that, we still have the YouTube channel where you can go back and find out if this is valuable for you. I would really ask you just for a little sub there and a like on the videos. And that's it, I think, for tonight, isn't it? Like 54 minutes later. We're gonna hang out in the Discord for a little bit. Head over to pirateskills.com/discord, and then we can chat a little bit in the voice channel for the for the meetup. And that's turning live shop visitors into customers. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. I see you in the new year. Merry Christmas and goodbye. All right, hippopity. Let's shut down the live streams. We have to make sure that they are further along far enough. Okay, YouTube is finished. Let's assume that Facebook is finished